back at the Beacon Hill Performance Shop, and where I am now going to put some more upgrades on my pink Lincoln Navigator. I may also consider doing some body customization as well, if there's any of that available, because I could use that.
Hey, swap out stock parts with aftermarket hardware to slam more power from your ride.
So, gonna do the Stage 2 engine,
Upgrade the brains of your ride by
and
swapping out stock
the
parts.
super chip has
Hey,
already
tighten
been
your
installed,
gearbox and shorten your throws by
and
upgrading
now
your transmission
I'm gonna
and
put on
conveying
the
that power to
Stage 2
engine.
transmission, because this will be useful. Sure, ACT, why not?
Harden your suspension and slice through turns by upgrading your stock parts.
And oh, we get Stage 2 and Stage 3 suspension. You know I'm gonna go for the level 3 suspension, right? I mean, come on, it's literally the best.
Nitrous oxide is the glycerin of the race world. Rack it under your hood to give your ride that extra power when you need it.
And going with NOS, because that's the sponsor I'm signed
Rubber
with.
dictates control, so spend the bills and get the good stuff.
I have to at least show some sportsmanship for the sponsors I do this for. Yeah, let's go Toyo.
Remember, amp up your brakes to shorten the stopping distance.
And yeah, let's go Stage 2. And now we move on to the last two.
Break the barriers of top speed by slimming your ride with a weight reduction kit.
I can also say these upgrades have been a bit pricey, but with time I will be able to get those. I will be able to get a lot of that money back again. Sure, Sparko. And now, last but not least, the turbo.
Spool up some extra power by installing a turbo kit.
Stage 2 turbo baby. And I'm gonna go with... You know what? Let's go Jackson Racing for this one. And just like that, I've now gone from 26 grand all the way down to 4 grand. Fuck me, that is pretty expensive. But it's okay, because we've got all the upgrades we can fit on now, and the only thing I really need to do now is to go out and get some more body parts on this thing. Yeah, okay. I think we're pretty much done with the customization process now. After having a look through and seeing what's available. I did, of course, speed up the process, as you might have guessed, because, well, I didn't want to waste too much of your time making my car look better than it already was. But anyway, pretty much spent most of our money now, so I now need to go and get some of that money back again. And I will start off by heading over to my first SUV race. And where, if I can manage to put together a sizable gap, I will basically be guaranteed to get 300 rep points. So let's start here. And this is coming from Ted. This is hard boy. It's about to get hot with the UVs, and you're just in time to get smacked down. Front the quid, and you're in. Okay. I'm also hopeful in saying I can probably give you the smackdown because, well, I just spent basically a ton of money slapping on as many performance and body part upgrades as I can fit to this thing. So we get a Lincoln Navigator, a Hummer H2, and another Hummer H2 in this race. So we have no Cadillacs, it's just Lincolns and Hummers in this race. I should also mention GM recently revived the Hummer brand. I think it was 2021 when they revived the Hummer brand, although the brand itself was originally shut down in 2010 because, well, GM at the time had filed for bankruptcy following the 2008 financial crash, where, along with Hummer, they were basically forced to close down Saturn, which was one of their manufacturers, and the other manufacturer they were practically forced to shut down, sadly, was Pontiac. And unfortunately, Pontiac has officially been dead since 2010, and so has Saturn, unfortunately, because, well, both brands basically became defunct following the 2008 financial crash, which had basically led, of course, to many brands across the world being shut down during the Great Recession, which I don't think officially ended until 2011. I think it first began in 2007, and then I think it was by 2011 when the Great Recession had actually ended. Although I don't think it was until 2012 when most of them had fully recovered. But yeah. However, GM did manage to bring back the Hummer brand, and I'd imagine Hummer is basically doing what it did before, and that's basically selling SUVs. And I think one of the main reasons why many people know Hummer is because, well, a lot of their cars were used for war zones in the desert, and they were basically seen on multiple battlefields. I also think Hummers were used during the Iraq War as well, if I'm not mistaken. At least I think they were, but either way, Hummer did have a reputation of basically making SUVs that were essentially all-terrain and were ironically made for the battlefield. But anyway, At least that's what it was with the Hummer H1. I really couldn't tell you about the H2 or the H3. Anyways, so Jen was second, Ted third, and Mark came home fourth. So, 300 rep points to me, once again, and another 1200 in the bank, so I'm now going to get a replay. Because I've not got a replay of this thing on the mountain yet. I don't think. But yeah, point is, Hummers are basically known by most people, aside from them being cars that are driven by rappers, although that's ironically the same for Range Rovers as well, because, well, I think Chingy did that once, where he drove a Range Rover. But anyway, point is, the Hummer H2 is mainly known for being one of those battlefield vehicles, which is how many people know it. But anyway. And my phone is doing its notification sounds again. I'm gonna have to cover it up again, so if you are hearing anything, you're not hearing anything that's important to your ears. There we go. Problem solved. Okay, I think that should do it. Anyways, so that is our first SUV race now done and dusted. And now we need to head into the Bayview City core in order for us to get to our next SUV race. Which is located all the way down here. Head all the way over here, and I can definitely say the Lincoln feels a bit faster than it did before. But here it is. And it's a circuit race. Be clear, boy. Ain't no room or time made for chuck wagons here. You best be knowing what you're getting into, 'cause ain't no refunds given out here. Marnie, I would never ask you for a refund. I would simply just ask how much money you have and if you're willing to pay me the money afterwards. So I think we've got 2 Hummers and a Cadillac Escalade in this one, is what I think we have. Oh, correction, it's one of each. So, got a Lincoln Navigator, a Hummer H2, and a Cadillac Escalade. Which, as ironic as it might be, was a popular rapper's car at the time. At least I know there were plenty of American rappers and hip-hop artists who did own a Cadillac Escalade. I'm not going to make the shortcut there, but I will make the shortcut here. I'm also pretty sure this is the track where I think at some point you have got to slot yourself into the gas station. As in, you've literally got to slot yourself through the gas station in order to literally... Yeah, it is that one. Where you've literally got to slot yourself through the gas station without hitting any of the refueling pumps, or the medians where the refueling pumps are. Just to basically have a shot at winning. Plus the entries are quite easy to take because, well, you have plenty of room to get through even in an SUV as big as this one. And gonna make sure I don't miss the shortcut here because it is essential that you take this shortcut at least once if you're wanting to win at this track, especially if it's on the hard difficulty. Which I can guarantee will be a bit of a struggle. But either way, it doesn't matter because I, as I would have expected in my right frame of mind, am steadily pulling away from the pack behind me. And it looks as though they have no chance of catching me because I am doing this on the easy difficulty anyway, so to put it simply, I'm so glad I did not hit that wall. I'm pretty sure if I was any closer to that wall, I would have basically totaled my car. There are just some corners in these SUVs that you literally just cannot seem to get through because of how heavy they are. There are just certain corners which you cannot take at speed unless you really slam on the brakes and then absolutely nail the corner exit afterwards. But anyway, I am now 37 seconds clear of Sean. And it looks as though things are very much going to stay that way. Steve is third, and Marnie is running in fourth. I'm already way ahead of everyone else, and hey, I actually take the short shoot this time. That's awesome. Also, speaking of races that do actually have gas stations, I should mention there is actually one race in Midnight Club 2. I think this is also the final race of the career mode, but there is one race in Midnight Club 2 where right at the finish you basically have to run straight into the refueling pumps and basically give yourself what could be entitled as an explosive finish to the game when you're beating the world champion Savo. And if you really want to know how that's the case, well, you can basically just go and check out the fucking playthrough of the game I did a few months back. I don't reckon you'll have too much of a hard task finding it, but I will of course leave a card in the video at some point, basically showing you which one of them my Midnight Club 2 playlist is. I do also have plans at some point to do a playthrough of Midnight Club 3 at some point before the year's out. I'm not going to say when it's happening, but I will be doing a playthrough of Midnight Club 3 at some point after this game is done. However, as to when that's going to happen, well, you'll just have to stay tuned to my channel long enough to find out when that is. But all I can really confirm is it's coming soon. And that went precisely how I thought it was going to go. I'm now leading this race, by the way, with a margin of well over a minute now over Sean. And no change in the running order. So I think that's pretty clear to say I'm basically gonna just waltz away with the trophy by at least 70 seconds. 6 minutes 30 seconds is what it took to win that race. And I was 71 seconds clear of Sean. Steve was third in his Cadillac Escalade, so 1-2 for the Lincoln Navigators, and Marnie came home fourth in his Hummer H2. I should also mention we can't afford the colour change yet, or at least I don't want to spend any more money on this thing than what I've already spent. I will make sure to do one last colour change, but right now I'm just happy to leave things as they are. And now we have just one last SUV event to get through, and I will head straight over there now. This could take a few minutes for me to get there. Anyway, here it is. The last SUV race of Stage 4. And it's located right here on the edge of Cole Harbour East. And this one is coming from Aaron. I will make sure this vehicle goes about as fast as those cars they used in those moonshine runs. So we get 2 Cadillac Escalades and 1 Hummer H2 as our competition here, and no head start this time unfortunately, but that's okay because I will immediately work my way up into the lead. And the other guys we have in this race are Donnie and Ken. As already, I've opened up to a 4-second gap at the front of the field. And so, we move on. As I have now got a pretty sizable lead up front. And hopefully, if I am lucky, this one can manage to hold out. Because that is what I am doing. Hoping to gain my lead, and also making sure that I get a sizable lead in the process. Because that is always good when you need it most. And just like that, I now have a 14-second lead over Ken. And I'm pretty sure that lead is not going to drop either. Because I am just so far out ahead of everyone else. The odds of me losing this race now are practically slim to none, providing everything goes as smoothly as what it currently has. I'd also imagine it's probably going to stay that way as well. But anyway, we are still moving forwards. As I already take the first of the 2 routes I can take, and I now have a 20-second gap over Ken, and it will probably be more than that by the time we've finished. And off the final corner, and there we go. I win! And it only took me 28 minutes to get through all 3 of those races. And also for me to drive from basically the top of Beacon Hill down to the bottom of Cole Harbour. So Ken was second, Donnie third, and it was Aaron who came home fourth. 300 rep points, 1200 bank points, and there we go. Another set of races done, and now, providing we do everything else solidly from here, we should pretty much be on course to getting the sponsor signing with Grady by the time we get to the end of this, and providing we can keep this up. And we're pretty much well on target, because the average rep at the moment is 293.1. Of course, I'd imagine that'll probably drop again by the time I get to the hidden races, because there will be some drag races involved. So, anyway. All we have left are the street cross races, the outrun races, the special events, and the URL events are all that we have left. And I think next time, because I'm going to need some money back, I'm going to get on with the hidden races next. Because, well, I'm down to under $6,000 now, and I'm going to need some pretty big bucks if I'm going to prepare for the final stage the way I want to. Anyways, so there we go. 104 races have now been cleared, and we are 47% complete with the game. So, next time, on Need for Speed Underground 2, we will be doing the hidden races of Stage 4.
No one can rise, I need speed when I'm racing that strip. I got the bullet in the chip, you call like something to strip,